So I think the really interesting part about Ethan Klein versus Denims, Ethan Klein versus Frogan, and Ethan Klein versus Kaceytron is how similar they are, but also how different they are. They are different in two different scenarios. One, Kaceytron is in Missouri, while Denims and Frogan is in Los Angeles. They're actually in the exact same court. That's why they can hang out so much, because they are friends and they live close to each other, which makes sense. So even though Denims and Frogan are in the exact same court system in Los Angeles, California, Frogan has taken the strategy of evading service or not being served, and only recently got an attorney, and she is going to respond in 50 days. She was given 60 days. Some time has passed. So Denims has already issued a response. The other interesting portion, in addition to location and the timeline, is the law firms. So Kaceytron has 3 different lawyers, one in Missouri, and the one in Missouri is necessary, so that's probably not the main guy to bring in the 2 from Los Angeles or the 2 from California, because they're not allowed to practice in Missouri unless they are brought in by the Missouri attorney. So there has to be a Missouri attorney as part of the team. Kaceytron has both the same attorney as Denims and one additional attorney, probably representing her own interest from the same Frost LLC as Denims' attorney. So Frogan has picked a much, in my opinion, from what I can gather from the website and so on, a one-person attorney. So the Kaceytron and Denims, they seem, again, you can pretty much assume, given they have the same law firm and even that they share one of the same attorneys, they are sharing information among themselves. Are they going to share information about Frogan to Frogan and her attorney? Who knows? But these are this is almost identically the same lawsuit. Ethan Klein registered. He registered his Hassan Nuke. And the fact patterns are nearly the same, right? H3 Snark is the second defendant on all 3 cases. H3 Snark is going at its own pace with the subpoena. They were only subpoenaed in this case, the Denims case, and they are trying to quash the subpoena as we speak. And there must be something there, because I refuse to believe that there's 18 users. 9 of them are one individual, again, according to this individual called 9 Mods. What if there are 10 individuals? What if there are 10 individuals? Are you telling me 10 individuals never made a single mistake, right? In terms of posting something personal, posting maybe something that could lead to their real name or address or location. I find that difficult to believe, right? That many people, again, it could be less, but there's 18 users. I mean, for God's sake, it could just be one dude, or one female. But I'm assuming that each of the other 9 users are individuals. No, there's no way 10 individuals, unless they knew they would be sued in the future, which they didn't know at the time they were doing H3 Snark or becoming H3 Snark mods. But nonetheless, this is a fascinating case for copyright. As a copyright attorney, it is exactly the differences that you learn in law school. So what you read in law school, what you do is you read these cases, and these cases will have fact patterns that are different from each other and it seems like very insignificant ways. So you would have something called the Socratic method. You would read the fact pattern, you would read your cases, and then you would go to class and the teacher would call on you and say, okay, can you tell me the facts of the case? That's really easy. That's, probably summarized in your notes, and you just read the facts of the case. And then the teacher says, what if the individual was in Missouri? Okay, tell me about that. What if the individual did X instead of Y? What if the individual was not an individual, but an entity, a corporation? And you would talk about, why the court found guilty or innocent based on this fact pattern and how that could possibly change. So this is actually, if you're interested in going to law school, this is one of the best cases to study right now online, because the timelines are different, the personalities are different, how much they actually transformative and their ability to use fair use will be different. The lawyers and therefore I would expect the arguments will be different between Frogan and Kaceytron and Frogan and Denims. I expect Denims and Kaceytron to probably have very similar type of arguments, given they have the same law firm, or at least they share a law firm together. It will be even interesting if they all even ask for jury trials. I'm suspecting all three of them, because of who they are, would rather have a jury trial than a judge trial. Well, the jury in Missouri is going to be very different from a jury in Los Angeles. And even the two juries in Los Angeles, assuming Frogan also asks for a jury trial, they could be different. Voir dire, where it's, your lawyer trying to figure out which of these jury members are going to be against us, which of them are going to favor us. There is also the element of, and this is just me not being political, but me understanding where we are as a country under Donald Trump. Frogan is different than Denims, and that's all I'm going to say. So in terms of a jury, Frogan will be seen different. Now, should she be seen differently? Absolutely not. But people are people. Human beings are human beings, right? Even Kaceytron, being a weed addict, may be seen very differently from either of these two. So not only do you have defendants that are so vastly different and will behave so vastly different in court, and how the jury sees them, if they all go to jury, and then there's no guarantee they all go to jury. I mean, one of the biggest things might be one of them chooses a judge. That would change everything in this case. One of them chooses, okay, well, I want a judge. I want a judge to decide, not a jury. So you have almost this is the classic law school scenario, where you have the exact same. You have very, very similar. It's like the essay. It's like every essay in law school that they give you at the end of the year. The fact patterns are so similar, and there's something that is unique about the defendant. There's something that is unique about where the jurisdiction is. Maybe there is a statute in state or something like that, where it then applies to that one defendant that wouldn't apply to the other two. Or I could really see a law professor just giving this case in copyright law and saying, let's run with it. You got 18 defenses that Denims is running with. I predicted 10. I thought that was a pretty high prediction, to be honest. I thought that was the most that she could do, but 18 is even more than 10, of course. And what is the strategy? This is going to be so compelling. Like, you have Frogan's lawyer is very, very different. His resume is extremely different from the Frost LLP, which is a big company with a lot of partners, a lot of lawyers. It seems like he's kind of just like his only lawyer, right? Like when you go on his website, it's only him. Could he be better than and from my perspective, right? The quality of the lawyer will make a big difference here. I think Ethan's lawyer is not bad. Is he the best lawyer ever? No. But is he above average? Yes. We're going to see these two other lawyers. We're going to see how these two other lawyers are. They're technically more than two, but I'm counting the law firm. And I think for Kaceytron, her Missouri lawyer is just going to give in to whatever her Los Angeles. You don't hire a Los Angeles lawyer and a Missouri lawyer and have your Missouri lawyer do most of the work. Otherwise, you want to hire the Los Angeles lawyer. You're hiring the Missouri lawyers to oversee, so the Los Angeles law firm and lawyers can do the work, so they can win you the case. That's why you hired them, and that's why you're paying for free lawyers. So in addition to all this, it might just come down to money. How much money is each one of these people raising? How much money does they run out? Does Kaceytron run out money faster because he has free attorneys rather than one? Does Frogan have a better strategy because he's just kind of waiting in the weeds, right? So he's just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen later on. This is your classic law school. If you guys want a law school prompt, this would be it. 3 individuals get sued for copyright infringement. One of them is in Missouri. The other two are in Los Angeles. One of them has evaded service, so this one is delayed. So how will Denims' case affect Frogan? Unknown. Could be good, could be bad, right? Everything comes down at the end of the day to Denims. Number one sees the first one responding and sees the one doing the H-free snark mod reg and all this stuff. All the things are coming down to this one case. How Denims will be decided and fought over will probably determine in part the two other cases, right? Given that the other case is Frogan's case is literally in the same court system as Denims' case. It's also interesting that Frogan did not want to team up with Denims. Who knows? Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Bye, guys.